Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. We have a very exciting day today. We have our first ever documented case study with Angel, who is based in the US. So this is our first ever documented US case study. I speak with a lot of girls who ask, do I work with girls based in the US? And I absolutely do. We just haven't documented it before, which is super exciting. So welcome, Angel.
Hi guys, great to see you guys all.
So I started working with Angel back in August. At the time, she was already in the closing space doing insane. Her biggest bottleneck was that she felt capped at the 11K months. So she'd already done really well for herself to get to that point, but she's obviously very ambitious and she wanted to scale. Her first goal was to break that ceiling, initially aiming for 15K, and then more importantly, to build on her skill and her confidence to take things to the next level. When Angel came to me, she was actually considering male-led training programs, which is very common in this space. And honestly, I completely understand why. Because there aren't many women who teach real high-ticket sales training. As women, I do think we often feel like we have to turn to men to learn these skills. But I knew I could help Angel. I knew I could help refine her process, sharpen her skills, and ultimately help her double her income the feminine way. So she trusted me. She joined the Female Sales Accelerator, and here we are today. Angel has exceptional work ethic. She's consistently hungry to learn, consistently committed to improving, and truly strives to be the best sales rep she can be. So I truly know her story is going to inspire so many women watching this. Angel has been able to hit the 20K plus mark in a single month of commissions, so over 20K USD, which is an incredible achievement that not many actually do achieve. And what's even more incredible, I think, is that every month I've worked with Angel, she's been consistently improving month on month, her process, her income, everything. So yeah, I'm super excited to sit down with Angel today and share her journey. So let's dive straight in. I'd love for you to take us back. Like, what was it that was the catalyst for you to join the high ticket sales space? Like, talk us through your journey.
Yeah, so for me, like this whole journey was super unexpected. Like it wasn't something I had planned from the beginning. I was always ambitious and hardworking, and in that current position I was in, I felt really capped because I didn't really see a clear path where effort directly translated into the income or freedom that I wanted. And I knew from the very beginning since high school, like I didn't want to have to go through the traditional 9 to 5 corporate world. I wanted something where my mindset, skills, and work ethic like actually counted and mattered. And at that point, I was working part-time at a hair salon. I initially wanted to become a hairstylist, but being in that environment for almost like I think 2 years, it made me realize I had a different skill set. I love talking with people, understanding what they really wanted, and helping them make decisions. So I actually came across high ticket sales through a friend who introduced me, and I was kind of skeptical at first. I remember thinking there's no way possible, someone can easily make like 500 from an hour phone call working at home. It sounded so unreal at that time, but once I, really understood the whole value-based selling and saw it working in real life, like experiencing it firsthand, my perspective completely changed. And I think that was one of the things that really pulled me into getting into sales even.
Yeah, totally. And did you know, obviously you said you got in through a friend, but did you know many people doing this, or was this like a complete alien concept for you?
It was really just completely brand new. Like I heard of sales, I heard of life insurance sales and everything like that. And I was already kind of doing sales on my own thing. I was just mainly reselling sneakers for about 3 years,
Wow.
trying to just stack up and, build up from there. But high ticket sales is a whole different world, honestly.
100%. Because I think many people feel isolated coming in. I know I did. Like when you
Mhm.
know no one in the industry, people around you kind of judge you because they think like, what are you doing? Is this a scam? Like,
Right.
what are you up to? So did you feel that way coming into the industry, or did you just keep your head down and just get on with it?
I really just kept my head down and kept pushing forward because I knew I invested into the right mentor. And I
Yeah.
knew from that point, it's just really, it comes down to me putting in the work.
Totally. And tell us about your journey. Like, I'd love for you to share your perspective of how did you start? So, like, I know a lot of people talk about becoming a closer. Everyone wants to be a high ticket closer. But there is obviously another role, the appointment setting role, which I know I started at, and I highly advocate for
Mhm.
girls to start at. It's not essential, but it's a really great place to start. So, what did your journey look like?
Because I came in with not a lot of experience in the high ticket sales specifically and just sales in general, I landed my first offer, which was an Amazon FBA as a setter. I was like one of his first ever setter on that offer, very new. But at the same time, he also had a new offer. So I was kind of helping him in the back end, building out the offer, setting up the systems and everything. And I feel like
Wow.
being in that offer, it was a really good position because I got more experience. It was definitely tougher because I was completely new to it. But after being a setter for about not even like a month or so, roughly, I want to say, he then transitioned me to closing. At that time, I was really nervous because I was like, there's no way. Because right now, he was the only closer doing that offer. But he was like, I can't keep on taking more calls. Like I would rather work on the systems and the fulfillment and everything. So, why don't you go ahead and take over? And from there on, I started setting and closing on his offer. But over time, I realized like I do enjoy closing more. However, setting definitely was like that stepping stone for me into the high ticket sales and really understanding how any client's business works because the setter is pretty much like that first point of contact from there onwards. And that makes like a huge, huge difference. So I think as a setter coming in, it's really good to start off in that role to really get your foot in the door and building up your skills from there. And I feel like even going into any offer, coming in as a setter would really help you because once you eventually transition to a closer, you know that offer from the front and back, like no matter what.
100%. And I don't think a lot of people speak about that. And like you said, you did setting month, couple months. I know I did it for 3 months. Is it compulsory? No, of course not. But it really does shape you. And like you said, even as a setter, you're already nervous going into closing. I was exactly the same. I remember when the offer owner came to me and told me to become a closer, and I was like, no, like don't do that. I'm not good
Right.
enough. Because you get those nerves because it's a lot of responsibility becoming a closer, obviously a great responsibility. So it is really interesting to hear that we had kind of similar paths like that. Did you ever believe that you would be here today, like achieving this type of income and this type of success when you started?
I thought about that earlier this week as I was like reflecting on my whole year 2025 and my past years before that, especially, with high ticket sales. And coming into it, I was really just aiming to make like at least five to $10,000 a month. I was
Yeah.
pretty like blessed to even be making that much, but now I'm at the point where I'm hitting that 15 to $20,000 mark. I'm like, this is insane. I know it works and it's possible. It really just comes down to myself, putting in the work every day and showing up. And I feel like without high ticket sales, I wouldn't really be where I'm at, and I wouldn't be able to like give back to my family, my friends, and really having like that financial freedom.
100%. It's wild, right? And I think, I personally think, and I'd love your take on it, that the 0 to 10K, that's the slog. That's the difficulty. And I'm not saying sitting here to anyone saying making 20K is easy because
Mhm.
it's not, but the 0 to 10K is like the growing pains. You're learning everything, you're walking,
Right.
talking, everything. But actually, what would you say? How has it felt to double your income over the past few months? Like, has it been easier than you thought? Now you've got the momentum, or what's that been like for you?
I definitely would say I got the momentum going in, and at the same time, like you've seen me in like my rough patches, like there'll be times where like days or a week, I barely close any deals, and it's horrible. It's like an itching feeling that you want it gone. But it made me realize like, there are going to be days where you don't lose or where you don't win, and that's completely fine. But at the same time, it's really how you react to it, and you just got to keep pushing through. So even after I hit that 10K mark and I'm aiming for 20 now, it was not easy, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, 100%. I think mental resilience is a big one, especially men and women, honestly. I was about to say, especially being a woman, we're more emotional, but no, because I've had teams of all men and they've all been emotional, like all the time.
Right.
So I think it's just sales, right? You have to be really mentally strong, would you say?
100%. Sales is not for the weak.
It's
Even
not.
if you go high ticket sales, life insurance sales, tech sales, all of it, it's not for the weak. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna face some kind of rejection. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, 100%. But I think that's great because it helps you. I don't know about you, but I say this a lot on training calls. Like, sales has benefited all areas of my life, my communication with my family, friends, partner, how I show up for myself. It's not just a job, it's like a, I guess it's like a lifestyle. What do you think to that?
100%. I noticed like over time, even when I like invest into your mentorship program and like learning like new communication styles and how to communicate better, it bleeds over into other aspects of my life. But
Yeah.
at the same time, you also want to look at your mental health. Like if you feel like you're starting to get burnout or something, like that's really a sign for you to take a step back because it's going to start bleeding over.
100%. And we actually had that conversation not too long ago when you had like a week where you just weren't feeling the best. And I
Hmm.
think we spoke about that. Like, you've just come off from a record week. Maybe now it's a little
Right.
bit quieter. You could force something that's not going to work, or you could celebrate and reflect and like be refreshed and come back the next day feeling better. And I think it's important, but when you're so motivated and driven, it's hard to find that balance, right? But it is important to do that.
100%. I think this year I've been doing a really great job of just doing like weekly recaps of
Yeah.
how each week has went and then setting up goals for the next week, planning out for the next week, what things I want to get done and what goals I'm aiming for. And I think that's definitely been one of the things that's really helped me like stay consistent and not
Yeah.
kind of fall off the train track.
100%. I always say that you can't track what isn't measured. So it's super important to, and obviously everyone does it differently, what works for you, but it's super important to track. Like, at least, I think I did a poll the other day. I think you voted yes, you do track. And then I had a
Mhm.
bunch of girls from my program who voted they don't track. I'm like, guys, you're meant to be
Yeah.
tracking your progress and your goals. Like, that is the only way to see success. As case in
Hmm.
point, you're here today with
Right.
the income that you've been making. It's crazy.
100%. Like, yes, it definitely does seem tedious tracking it daily and every week, but I feel like over time it compounds, and like by the end of the year or even the end of the month or quarter, you can really see it all together and realize like, okay, what is it that I need to get done? Like, especially for this month, yes, it's been a little bit slightly slower than normal, but it's definitely given me a chance to kind of step back and really reflect, how this year has been and what I can do better coming into the next year. And that's even what one of my our COO right now for my current offer, he was even telling us about that on Monday's meeting. Like, yes, you guys, I know this month is slow and it's getting cold for us, but just really take advantage of this time to like take a step back and really reflect on so that way we can go into 2026 better and not feel like we're still stagnant.
100%. And I think that is the thing with sales and entrepreneurship, right? Because it's all on you and it's such a high performing role, you can't just go month after month after month. You have to give yourself rewards and breaks, which is the beauty. Because if you're earning good money, you can afford to take yourself to the spa or take yourself out for dinner or be with your
Right.
friends. So it's kind of like you work hard, you play hard at the same time.
100%. You always got to treat yourself, even if it's like a little sweet treat or like a
Yeah.
matcha coffee pick me up. Like that's okay. You don't always have to like work, work, work. Because I feel like I used to do that. I even told you about it. It definitely led me to burnout. And there was one point where I was texting you. I was like, "How do you stay energized like all day long?" Because I literally can't do it. But I
Yeah.
realized like it's okay to take breaks, and I got to the point where I remind myself like it's okay to take some time to go out with people and spend time with your family and friends. Because I guess at one point I was so stuck in like the mindset, like I even told like prospects that I talked to this, especially during this month, like, are you trying to stay stuck in 2025 or are you actually trying to make moves in 2026? But I realized like even taking those breaks and, relaxing, recharging, that's going to help you get far. It's
100%.
like a car, it needs to have gas to fuel it up.
100%. It's like knowing for the self-care, is your self-care right now doing more to do the task so you feel mentally happy, or is your self-care taking your foot off the gas to feel mentally happy? And there's different phases of life that's going to mean different things, but
Mhm.
both are equally important. And I guess with that being said, like, what does it take to be a 20K a month closer? Like, what does that look like for you? Because I know that's so many people's dreams to achieve that, and you're sitting here and you've done it. So,
Right.
what's that like?
I feel like the biggest part really just comes down to discipline and accountability.
Hmm.
Um, And that's like one of the things, like even my partner, he holds me to. We both hold each other to it, and we are always like telling each other our goals and everything. And I even share about to you, and you're always keeping me accountable and in check, like making sure I'm on the right path, which I really do appreciate it. But I would say it's just being consistent. Like, yes, not every day you're gonna give your 100%. Sometimes, like let's say that day you're feeling like a 50%. In
Hmm.
reality, that may just be your 100%, and that's okay. But it's like as long as you show up and you put in the work as much as you can, like your best effort, then like that's really gonna compound. Because those small wins, they stack up
They do.
like insane. So
Yeah,
yeah.
100%. It's like doing the extra dial or taking the extra call or doing something that can compound into like three or four piffs back to back because you did that extra thing.
Right, 100%. Like there was one day I only had, I think like two calls booked and I was okay with it. I ended up booking follow-ups with them and that's okay. Not every call is going to be first call closed, but then later in the day, I took some time, work out, spend time with my boyfriend, clean up the house, but then one of the setters reached out to me was like, "Hey, I have these three leads. Can you squeeze them in today?" And at that point it was like almost like nighttime, like 7, 8, 9 o'clock. And I
Wow.
was like, you know what, just squeeze them in. Even though in the back of my mind, I was like, I really don't want to be doing that because I like to have my calls back to back and getting them done and then just relaxing. But I was like, you know what, let me just take them. And then before you know it, there was three paid in full comings in.
No way. Love that. That's how it works.
So, I mean, it's just the best part because you can work anytime.
Yeah, it's insane. And what does a day in the life look like? Like, tell us, if someone wants to be a 20K a month closer, what does Angel's Wednesday look like?
So my day usually starts with, me waking up. Sometimes it's around like 8 or 9 a.m. And then from there, I'll either go to the gym in the morning if I'm feeling it, or I'll just go later in the day, depending on how my calls look like.
Mhm.
I usually try to eat breakfast. Sometimes I do skip it and I just eat lunch and dinner instead. But then after that, get caffeinated, even if it's a Lonnie New energy drink, matcha, coffee, you name it. And then from there, we have our daily sales team meetings where we usually just go over wins, do some training, call reviews, updates, and everything like that. And then usually from there, I have my calendar full wide open. So I'm taking calls anywhere between maybe like 2 to even 12 or 15 a day, just
Wow.
depending on our lead flow and how much my calendar's been open that day.
Mhm.
But my biggest thing is just leaving time aside to do like my own training for sales and just self-development. One thing I've been working on is at least reading 20 minutes a day daily, like just literally putting
Wow.
20 minutes aside to read
Yeah,
a book.
I
And
love
then,
that.
yeah, it's been really good just trying to stay consistent with that now. But then at the end of the day, I finish my admin, all my EOD tasks, and then review my calendar for the next day. Make sure I have my pre-call task schedule out, so that way they will no show. And then just kind of winding down, either, staying inside and making dinner at home or just going out with my boyfriend or friends or whoever really. And then obviously getting ready for bed, shower, skincare. One thing I've been doing more is just journaling,
Okay.
reflecting, just Bible reflection too, to kind of end off my day. I think that's been really helping me personally and then also just other aspects of my life too.
Yeah, I love that. So it very much sounds like you work hard. I mean, that call volume is no joke. And that's what
Right.
it takes to make this type of money. We're not doing 3 hours of calls working on a beach, but
Mhm.
you also live your life. You also, fit in time with your partner, your friends, exercising, sex, whatever that is for you. You get to make decisions on your schedule.
Right.
So it's pretty cool. You can choose this week I'm working hard, this week I need a bit of a break, would you say?
Yeah, 100%. And it's gotten to the point where like all my friends were working too and everything, so it aligns well to the point where we're planning things like a week or even like 3 to 5 days ahead of time. So it does give me time to figure out my calendar, like, oh, this day I can take this many calls, but then tomorrow I can do a full day, like
Yeah.
vice versa. I still want to be there for my friends, my family, and everything. Like yesterday, for example, I took half the day off to help one of my friends move into her new place. I'm more
Nice.
than willing to do that, but then today I'm back and I got a full, day of calls to take, but that's okay because I enjoy doing that.
Because it's on your terms, you're choosing, you're not having to answer to anyone. I think that's the beauty of it, isn't it?
100%. I always tell people like with me being in sales, like I always think of it as like freedom really comes after the discipline, not before, but it really just comes down to like time management.
100%. I agree. I love that quote. I've never heard of that before, but I think everyone's chasing the freedom now. They want the 10K a month now. They want the freedom now, but it's
Hmm.
not an overnight thing, is it? It really does take time to build and compound, I think, that momentum to get to a point where you can work hard, like you said, but also play hard.
Exactly. It's okay to treat yourself.
Yeah, totally. So I guess going back to when we started working together, so a few months now, I'd love for you just to give a bit of an insight of, I guess, your perspective of working together, because I actually speak with quite a few established setters and closers. And I know that I speak a lot about working with beginners and not so much about people who are already in this space.
Hmm.
So what's been your I guess, honest experience, like working with me, coming in, how you
Right.
felt putting your trust in me at the start as well.
100%. Like for me, I reached out. Like we've been connected and everything, but I reached out to the point where, I was ready. I wasn't desperate, but I was just done settling where I'm at, like being comfortable. I didn't want another month or year to go by and I'm still stuck at the same like 10, $11,000 a month. And my biggest part that I felt like was missing was just more structure, guidance, and speed from someone who's already done what I'm trying to build. Obviously, coming in, I was excited, but a little bit nervous, but in the best way. Because it did felt like a stretch, but that's how I knew in my head like it was right. Because I learned that if something feels a little scary, it usually means growth. And
Yeah,
it's gonna be a good growth. And at one point, comfort was kind of making me feel stuck. So I was ready to just step outside of that. And even coming into your program, it definitely gave me a lot more clarity and higher standards, not just in sales, but like how I think and operate day to day. I stopped second guessing myself and actually making my decisions with anything in life with more confidence. Like even just going through the modules and rewatching like the weekly sales trainings and everything has been a huge part for me because it still keeps me sharp and consistent. And I
yeah,
think the most impactful part isn't that like the growth has stayed in just sales alone, but it's carried over into like other areas of my life. And I think that's where I really can see the growth happening.
yeah,
But, just like the discipline, mindset, and self-belief that I've built through, your whole program had really changed how I would like handle when I'm under pressure, setbacks, and just showing up overall. Like I
yeah.
think that's been like the biggest really like turning point, whole 180.
Yeah, well, I love to hear that. And that truly, genuinely makes me so happy because I think it has been huge. And I genuinely see that within you as well, the way we communicate. Because you and I, we communicate all the time. We're like back and forth. You
Right.
always do your check-ins. You're always telling me what you're up to. And I love that because I see so much growth. And sometimes you don't even need to ask me now. You just know. You know what you're doing. You
Right.
know what needs to be done and
Mhm.
you're self-sufficient. Like you don't, I'm here to support you if you need, but you know in yourself and you trust in yourself. And I think that's the biggest thing, right?
No, yeah, 100%. Like there was one point, like I think it was in October. I had like this dry sales slump and I was like trying to think like, is it my framework? Like should I be changing it up and everything? But I think one thing you told me that really stuck to me to this day and to anything in my life really is like don't change or fix something that's not broken.
Mm.
you know, because I even do that with other parts of my life too. Like we were trying to like remove like certain things in our room and everything, but me and my partner, we were like, babe, remember what Shelly had told you? Like, don't change something that's not broken. It's fine. And like it still bleeds into my personal life and what I do and how I make decisions. And I think that's really helped. And even just like the community that we have, being around other ambitious women really helps us push ourselves and just automatically raises your standards. It
Right.
holds you accountable and reminds you like you're not doing this alone. Like there's other girls out there who are absolutely crushing it too.
Yeah, totally. And I think it's funny to know like we've actually been connected of some sort for a very long time. Like I remember when we were speaking on Instagram way before I was doing this and
Right.
I was just closing, I think. And
Hmm.
we were talking, I think you were making like 5 to 8K or something. I can't quite remember. And we've always been connected. And then to have like a full circle now where we're working together on this level, I love it. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, like that just shows you like the world may seem big, but it's really a small world. Like everyone somehow knows everyone. And I think one of the biggest things in this industry is also like your reputation, how you
Yeah.
present yourself. Because I think first impressions are huge in this industry and it definitely has a big impact on who you are and what you do.
100%. Because I definitely think with sales reps, ego is a big thing. Like you start earning this crazy
Right.
money. Obviously not you, but I've seen it a lot. You start earning this good money and then you think you're king of the world. But actually, like you said, you should always be kind, you should always be generous, you should always be,
Right.
because you just never know,
You never know who you
how
come
that person's
across.
going to be in your life later on.
Yeah, the biggest thing is just being genuine with
Yeah.
others because you never know what's going to happen.
100%. What do people around you think? Has anything changed, like family, friends, now you're like really scaling?
Yeah, so at first, some people didn't really get it. But even when I first started in the beginning, I kind of kept my head down low. I didn't really tell anyone what I was doing until like it was set in stone. For me, I don't like to say anything of like what's gonna happen until it's like I actually see it happening. But now that they see the results, the confidence, the growth and everything, I would say the biggest shift has been like how I carry myself. And
Wow.
that's one of the things that people would notice right away. So over time, I learned that, you will lose certain people, and that's okay. Not everyone is meant to stay in your life or be in every season. And a lot of people only understand like the highlight moments from the outside because that's what they really see, but they don't see like the behind the scenes and what you're doing, the nights that you're staying up, doing training and all that. But the people who truly been there since day one, they know how hard this journey has been. They see my ups, my downs, and everything, and they have been really supportive through all of it. And those are really the relationships I value the most. And those are the people that I really want to give back to more than ever. And I
Yeah.
always remind myself, like, anytime that when things get rough, like, setbacks are really just the setups and rejections are just redirection. Like, everything is meant to be the way it is.
We're dropping all the motivational quotes today. I love that.
I'm always
You
reminding
are.
myself.
You're very motivational, but it's so true. It is so, so true. I always say, don't try and rush the process. Like the woman you are is made on the journey. And that's
Mhm.
with everything. Like the woman you want to be, sorry, is made on the journey. And like the people who are meant to be in your life and the career you're meant to have, the money you're meant to have will all come.
Yeah,
It's
100.
already pre-written in your journey. Time just has to catch up. So
Right.
I love that you have those close relationships. Me too. I have a small circle, but those ones are the right ones, which I think is important.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like the five people that you surround yourself really resemble who you are. And it's gotten to
100%.
the point where, yes, like I will remove certain people because I just feel like if they're not helping me grow, then, are they meant to be in my life?
Yeah, 100%. Life's too short.
Mm.
What are your goals from here? What's next? I mean, we're filming this for anyone. Well, you won't know this because it won't go out today, but it's the 30th of December, so 2 years before New Year's. 2 years, 2 days
Days?
before New Year's. 2 years, going crazy. So the New Year's on the horizon. So I don't know if you've done your planning for the year and what you're looking to achieve, but have you thought about that? What you're looking to achieve next?
I have thought about it. So really just going into 2026. Literally February, I turned 21. Um,
Wow.
yeah, I already moved out earlier on this year in April, but one of my biggest thing is eventually getting my own place with my boyfriend, whether it's a townhouse or an actual house, but also really just giving back to my family and my parents. I know they've been wanting to go on vacation more, so my plan, I hope they don't see this, but my plan is surprising them on a big trip and also really just also my friends too. They've been there for me since day one, so taking them on a nice little girls trip would also be great, but me personally, I really just want to like continue scaling, mastering my craft, investing wisely, and just building that long-term freedom. And I know
Yeah.
right now, like this is just the foundation. Like for me,
Yeah.
I've been telling everyone like 2025 has just been like my warm up,
Yeah.
and then going from there is just we're running speed. But I really do see myself investing in to other business ventures, whether it's like real estate, that's one of the biggest one I want to be doing, but also other business event ventures that I've been thinking about too.
That's so cool. I had no idea you were 20. That's insane. I'm a little bit older. That's insane. I love that for you. You've literally got like, I sound like, not to sound like a granny, but you've got your whole life, like your early 20s, right? So that's
Right.
like crazy that you've been able to build such an amazing foundation. Super inspirational.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Sometimes like I look back and I'm like, dang, I wish I could have started this when I was like 18 or
I
something
know, I
or
feel that.
16.
I'm like, if I
16,
would have
but
started this when I was 16, game over. But
literally.
it's the way it is. Everything for a reason.
Right. And I'm like, you know what? I'm glad I started at 18 rather than later on. At least now I've been able to build it up and I'm just gonna keep building it up from there. But I've seen a lot of like girls and guys out there on social media who are starting it when they're like 16 or even like 17. I'm like, yeah, you're doing the right thing. Just keep on
Yeah.
doing it. It may be uncomfortable because everyone around you wants to like enjoy high school, go to parties and stuff, but like those will always be there. I mean, you would much rather have a party on a yacht than at someone's
Yeah.
base.
I was just about to say that have a party on a yacht when you're 25, then some
Right.
random dingy party at 17. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I guess to wrap this up then, because this has been incredible and there's so many takeaways from this. So, if there are girls watching this, right, whether they're in sales, they're not in sales, they're sitting on the fence and they don't know whether to jump, they don't know whether to book a call, they don't know whether to have a chat, what would be your advice?
If you're on the fence, my biggest thing is just know that discomfort is what leads to growth. You're gonna feel nervous, and that's okay. And I always tell prospects when I'm talking to them too, because they usually feel nervous investing in themselves, is like, it's okay for you to feel scared, nervous, any kind of emotions. They're valid. But if you're nervous or scared coming into this, it really just shows like you care about this. You're serious about this, you want to make it work. But on the other side of that decision is a completely different life that you want. You're not behind, you're not incapable. Everyone has their own timeline. You don't need anybody's permission. It's just really commitment. There's never a really perfect time to start. And one of the biggest things that my sales manager, Jalen, told me is commit now and figure out along the way. Like when I had my trip to Miami back in November, our flight got canceled on Friday. I think I told you about this. He
Yeah.
literally called me when I was Ubering back home from the airport. He was like, just book a one-way ticket, come to Miami. You're like, literally, it's an hour or two flight. Come to us, be at the event, and then, commit to doing that and then figure out later. It's okay. And then me and my boyfriend, we actually ended up doing that, and we had one of the best times ever. And we were, able to connect with other entrepreneurs in the space too. So it's been amazing.
Yeah, insane. So just feel the fear, do it anyway, commit now, figure it out. That's your
Mhm.
motto.
Exactly. Enjoy the process, like just really enjoy the journey along the whole way. Yes, there's going to be some ups and downs, but those downs is really what's going to like help build you up and become better.
100%. Angel, thank you so much. This has been an absolute pleasure to sit down and chat with you. And yeah, I know you've inspired so many women, maybe more than you realize. I definitely think after this comes out. So thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great talking with you guys today.
So we're going to wrap it up here. You guys know what to do if you're looking to get into the sales space or if you're already in sales and you want to level up your income in 2026. There's going to be a link down below. You can book a call. We can have a chat, discuss your goals, and see if the partnership makes sense. See you in the next one. Bye.